Hi! I hope everybody is having an amazing Friday. Today, I just wanted to clear up a few things because I get asked this a lot. How do I eat? Um, am I vegan? Am I vegetarian? Am I paleo? There's so many different things out there right now, ways of eating. And of course, being in nutrition and health, I get asked a lot how I eat. So I wanted to share what I kind of eat in a typical day with you guys and a little bit about um, my beliefs around this question. So when I get asked that question, I have to tell people I'm none of those. I'm not a vegan. I'm not a paleo. I am not a vegetarian. I am a real food eater. And unfortunately, that's not the title of any way of eating yet, but it's really just about eating whole, real foods that make me feel good and provide me with all the nutrients that I need to be healthy. So I really, really do not believe in restricting myself to one certain way of eating. Now, this is just because I believe in real foods that comes from the earth in all of its forms. That being said, so I really just don't like having titles around all of this. And I feel like it's become a big fad with a lot of these ways of eating, almost religious-like in some cases. And that's just not me. I want the freedom and flexibility in my life to eat what I want as long as it's making me feel good. I don't want to be restricted to only being able to eat certain things or only certain ways. So that's really important to me, is to have the flexibility and to be able to go out for dinner and to go to people's houses and not stress out about eating something that's not my normal plan or something that may not be the best for me, but I enjoy. So that's one of the reasons why I really don't limit myself to a certain, title or label of how I eat. Another really big reason for me is that I do not believe in supplements. That's a big statement because yes, sometimes I'm acknowledging there's a total need for them. And in my case, I actually take one supplement, which is vitamin D. And that's because I do not get it from nature where I live here in Canada. So there are certain situations where it's necessary, but for everyday health, we can definitely get everything we need from real food. So that's what I do. And yes, that means that I include the occasional animal product in my diet. And I know that's a huge debate right now. And yes, there are definite drawbacks to health around animal foods, let alone the detriment to the environment that it causes. So the way that I manage it in my life is total moderation. I don't eat a lot of animal foods, and when I do, I make sure they're local, organic, and as happy animals as they can be. So that's very, very key and very important to me. I don't want to have to take my B12 and my iron in a pill. So there are things that unfortunately we can't get in the same way from total plant foods. And I don't want to take pills. So that means that I'm going to incorporate a little bit of meat into my diet, and animal products like eggs and milk, mainly less meat. So that's really why I don't label myself. I want the flexibility. I don't want to take supplements, and I also don't want to engage in this fad, these new sort of religions that are popping up around nutrition and eating. Very important to me. Just living life, eating real food, and feeling amazing, getting everything that I need from my food. So I really want to point out, yes, I do believe that animal agriculture and products are huge number one cause of the environment and our state of health right now. There is no doubt in my mind about it. And I'm taking a stand by hugely limiting what I'm eating in that area and making sure that I definitely eat local. So yes, that is a huge issue, and I'm totally acknowledging it, and the truth behind it is just ridiculously astonishing. So that's how I sort of manage it, but I eat mostly plants, mainly plant foods, plant-based diet with the occasional animal product so that I can get everything that I need from my food. So there are definitely certain foods that I don't eat a lot of, and there is a list that I'll share with you of foods that I know are not good for my health, and I know in excess have been linked to a lot of diseases and a lot of bad health issues. So I eat those in moderation. I mean, this is my biggest lesson for you today. It's about moderation. If there are things that you enjoy, then include them in your life, but get to a place where it is a good, healthy relationship and it's in moderation. So the first one I talked a bit about, but is meat. So I do not eat a lot of meat, and luckily my husband is on board with me. We eat it maybe once every I want to say more like once every 2 weeks. And other than that, we'll eat beans, grains, other legumes, and eggs we eat more regularly for the nutrients that are in there that I need. So, and when we do eat meat, it's always pretty much poultry. So white meat, light meat. The other one is dairy milk. Do not eat a lot of that. I'll have maybe an ounce or two in my coffee every 2 to 3 days when we have a coffee. That's it. I don't use milk for anything else. Occasionally, I will also have yogurt or kefir. Whenever I get around to making granola, sometimes I have that maybe once a month. I'll go through a couple days of eating that. Cheese is another big one. Don't eat a lot of cheese anymore. I found a lot of supplements, or sorry, not supplements, substitutes for cheese that are so delicious, and I actually prefer more. So it's actually been really easy to cut out the cheese. I still eat it maybe about once every week or twice a week maybe. I still love pizza, and I make it at home, of course. It's so much better. Added sugars is something that I've been very good at kind of saying no to in my life. Maybe once a week I'll have sugar in something, and it's usually a treat that I've homemade, and I enjoy it. Coffee, like I said, with the milk, I usually drink coffee every only 2 to 3 days, and I have just a tiny little cup. It's become a real experience because I do love the taste of coffee, but it's not very great for my health. Alcohol, that's a big one, right? I struggle with this one because I'm a huge wino. I love my wine, but I've gotten to a place where, you know, unless it's some sort of celebration week or Christmas, don't even get me started about Christmas, I'll have probably a bottle of wine every 2 to 3 weeks. And that's about it. Like, it's not a daily occurrence, and it's a special occasion when I get to drink it. Bread and pasta, I'll eat maybe once or twice a week. Pasta is usually once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, and bread is maybe twice a week, more often, depending on if we're having avocado toast for breakfast or what have you. Pastries and cookies. I have a huge sweet tooth, so this is getting to a place where I have a good relationship with sugar, but I love pastries and cookies, and I'll only 95% of the time eat it if I make it. So when I make it maybe once every 2 weeks, I'll make a treat and then really enjoy it. Processed foods is something that I do not eat a lot of, but yes, on occasion I totally do, and I enjoy it. Maybe once every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'll have something that comes in a can or a bottle. I mean, we just moved this week, so yes, I've had some like packaged soups and different things for meals when I didn't have time to make anything. And my weakness in that processed food section is totally breadsticks from Pizza Hut. We do that maybe once a month, and we really, really love splurging and doing that. So definite moderation on those certain foods. That's the key. We focus 90% of our diet is on whole, real foods, mostly plant-based. And the rest is this moderation of things that aren't that great for me, but I really enjoy eating. So more specifically, you might ask, like, well, what do you eat every day then? How do you put all these things together without eating a lot of meat and cheese and dairy? So my typical day will start with 2 cups of water. I actually have that sitting on my nightstand. I put it there the night before so that I remember to drink it when I wake up in the morning. And then we'll usually have a smoothie, and that varies. There's always a lot of vegetables in it, so I'll use carrots, beets, usually greens, either spinach or kale, and then some berries and fruit. And I also always add a little bit of my homemade protein omega-3 mix, which is just ground up hemp seeds, chia seeds, and flax seeds. I put a couple of tablespoons of that in my smoothie every morning just to get those amazing nutrients. And then we'll have breakfast, and that's usually porridge or granola if I get around to making it, or eggs and avocado toast, or overnight oats also. So a little bit of both, savory and sweet, with berries and fruit and all sorts of things. Lunch is always leftovers from the day before. It's a rare occasion when I don't cook enough on purpose to have lunch the next day. Then I don't have to cook so much. I don't want to spend all day in the kitchen. I'm busy doing other things, as are you, right? And then for dinner, it varies greatly because depending on if it's cold out, right now it's a lot of soups. I love Thai coconut soup. I love a lentil curry soup. That one's actually up on my website. Butternut squash soup. Also like rice and bean wraps. We do a lot of like burritos and wraps with rice and bean mix. Really, really delicious. When we do have pasta, it's usually like a creamy Alfredo, which by the way, we make totally without any milk or dairy products, and it's delicious. Or a tomato-based sauce. One of my favorites is a chickpea curry that we make. I also have a recipe for that on my website. That's an ultimate favorite. It's actually on my meal plan this week. I've been missing it. Or, you know, and in the summer, it's more like fully loaded salads with chickpeas in them and nuts and seeds and lots of greens and sprouts. So, and rarely ever do I eat snacks. So I've really cut that habit out of my life. I focus on eating everything that I need at my meal times and filling the gaps in with herbal teas or water. But when I do need a snack, or if I'm exercising, then I definitely make sure to have a snack right after. I'll make smoothies, power balls, hummus and veggies, or I really love apples with peanut butter and cinnamon on them. Those are all really great snacks, and sometimes keep it really simple. Just grab a fruit, grab an apple, or grab a handful of nuts, and that's about it. So what I want you to take away from today is just figuring out what your moderation is. And really focusing more on, is it a real food versus does it follow this strict set of guidelines according to this way of eating? Big thing is remembering to listen to your body. So, you know, I know so many people who have, say, gone paleo and they feel horrible, but they stick with it because they think it's the healthiest way of eating. So, or vegan too. I mean, I know so many people who have tried it and it just really doesn't work for their body. So you need to figure out what's best for you. For me, it's a little bit of everything. So take this away with you, and whenever you're, you know, kind of thinking about food, I want you to think of two questions. Number one is it a real food as close to its natural state that it grows or is produced in nature? Number two is, how does it make me feel after I eat it? Those two together, you'll be able to find out what works best for you and what is going to be the healthiest thing for you to be eating. So I hope that was helpful and that you learned a little something, and tune in with me next time. Thanks everybody. Bye.